Separation has its roots in the way we are conditioned from a young age. From early childhood, we are taught to identify with a particular name, body, and set of personal characteristics. We learn to differentiate between me and not me, creating a boundary that defines our individuality. This process of individuation is necessary for the development of a functional sense of self, but it also lays the foundation for the belief that we are separate from the rest of existence. Our cultural and societal structures further reinforce this sense of separation. We live in a world that emphasizes individual achievement, competition, and personal success. The media, education systems, and social institutions all promote the idea that we must strive to distinguish ourselves from others, to carve out a unique identity, and to achieve personal goals. This relentless focus on individualism often leads to feelings of isolation, alienation, and loneliness. The illusion of separation has profound consequences for our well-being and the health of our planet. When we see ourselves as separate, we are more likely to engage in behaviors that harm others and the environment. We prioritize our own needs and desires over the collective good, leading to a range of social and ecological problems. Environmental degradation, social inequality, and conflict all stem from this fundamental misperception of separation. In reality, the notion of separation is an illusion. Modern science and ancient wisdom traditions alike reveal the deep interconnectedness of all life. Quantum physics shows us that at the most fundamental level, everything in the universe is interconnected. Particles are entangled in ways that defy our conventional understanding of space and time. Similarly, ecological studies demonstrate the intricate web of relationships that sustain life on Earth. Each species, each ecosystem is interconnected and interdependent. Meditation is a powerful tool for dissolving the illusion of separation. Through meditation, we can experience the interconnectedness of all things directly. As we sit in stillness and silence, we begin to observe the workings of our own mind. We notice how thoughts and feelings arise and pass away, revealing the transient nature of our inner experiences. This observation helps us to disidentify from the constant stream of thoughts and emotions that create the sense of a separate self. In deeper states of meditation, we may experience moments of profound unity and oneness. These experiences, often described as mystical or transcendent, reveal a reality beyond the ordinary perception of separation. We may feel a deep connection with all of existence, a sense of merging with the universe. These experiences can be transformative, shifting our understanding of who we are and how we relate to the world. Mindfulness, a key component of meditation, helps us to cultivate a continuous awareness of the present moment. By focusing our attention on the here and now, we begin to see through the illusion of separation. We notice the interconnectedness of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations with the world around us. We realize that our inner and outer worlds are not distinct, but are intimately linked. This realization fosters a sense of unity and harmony. The sense of separation is closely tied to the ego, the part of us that identifies with our thoughts, feelings, and personal story. The ego thrives on differentiation and comparison, constantly seeking to establish itself as separate and distinct. In meditation, we learn to observe the ego without attachment. We see it as a construct of the mind, not the essence of who we are. By letting go of the ego, we dissolve the boundaries that create the illusion of separation. As we experience the interconnectedness of all life, we naturally cultivate compassion. We begin to see others as extensions of ourselves, sharing the same fundamental essence. This shift in perception fosters empathy and kindness. We become more attuned to the suffering of others and are motivated to alleviate it. Compassion becomes a natural response when we recognize our shared humanity and interconnectedness. The illusion of separation manifests in various ways in our daily lives. We often perceive our relationships, work, and even our bodies as separate from our true selves. This perception creates stress, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection. By integrating the insights gained from meditation into our daily lives, we can begin to see through these illusions. We realize that our relationships are not separate from us, but are a reflection of our inner state. Our work is not just a means to an end, but a part of our life's expression. Our bodies are not just physical entities, but vessels of our consciousness. Recognizing the illusion of separation is also crucial for healing our planet. Environmental problems arise from the belief that we are separate from nature. This belief leads to exploitation, pollution, and degradation of the natural world. When we see ourselves as interconnected with all life, we begin to act with greater respect and care for the environment. We understand that the health of the planet is intimately linked to our own well-being. Living in the present moment is a powerful antidote to the illusion of separation. When we are fully present, we experience life directly, without the filters of past conditioning or future anxieties. This direct experience reveals the interconnectedness of all things. We see the beauty and wonder of the present moment, appreciating the intricate dance of life unfolding before us. Presence dissolves the boundaries created by the mind, allowing us to experience unity and wholeness. Daily meditation practice. Establish a regular meditation practice to cultivate awareness and presence. Start with a few minutes each day and gradually increase the duration. Mindfulness in daily activities. Practice mindfulness in everyday activities, such as eating, walking, and working. Pay attention to the sensations, thoughts, and feelings that arise in each moment. Observing thoughts and emotions. Notice how thoughts and emotions create the sense of a separate self. Observe them without attachment, recognizing them as transient experiences. Cultivating compassion. Practice compassion by seeing others as extensions of yourself. Engage in acts of kindness and empathy, understanding that their well-being is interconnected with your own. Connecting with nature. Spend time in nature to experience the interconnectedness of all life. Observe the rhythms and cycles of the natural world and feel your connection to the earth. Reflecting on interconnectedness. Reflect on the interconnectedness of all things. Contemplate how your actions, thoughts, and feelings influence the world around you. Living in the present moment, focus on being fully present in each moment. Let go of past regrets and future worries, and embrace the richness of the here and now. Our minds are adept at creating narratives that pull us away from the present moment. We dwell on past experiences, replaying them in our minds, often with a sense of regret or nostalgia. Similarly, we project ourselves into the future, imagining scenarios that evoke anxiety or anticipation. This constant mental time travel creates an illusion of separation from the present moment, leading to stress, dissatisfaction, and a sense of disconnection. Embracing the present moment means shifting our focus from these mental constructs to the here and now. It involves bringing our full attention to whatever we are experiencing at this very moment. This can be challenging because our minds are habitually restless, constantly seeking distraction. However, with practice, we can train ourselves to become more present. One effective way to cultivate presence is through mindfulness meditation. This practice involves sitting quietly and focusing on the breath, observing the sensations, thoughts, and emotions that arise without judgment. By anchoring our attention to the breath, we create a point of focus that keeps us grounded in the present moment. Another technique is to engage fully in everyday activities. Whether we are eating, walking, or working, we can bring our awareness to the sensations and experiences of the moment. This might mean savoring the taste and texture of food, feeling the ground beneath our feet as we walk, or paying close attention to the details of our work. These practices help us to break free from the habitual patterns of distraction and to experience life more fully. Living in the present moment has numerous benefits for our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. When we are fully present, we experience less stress and anxiety because we are not caught up in worrying about the future or ruminating on the past. We become more aware of our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to respond to situations with greater clarity and calmness. Being present also enhances our relationships. When we give our full attention to others, we listen more deeply and connect more authentically. This fosters greater empathy, understanding, and intimacy. Moreover, living in the present moment allows us to appreciate the beauty and wonder of life. We become more attuned to the simple joys and miracles that surround us, leading to a greater sense of gratitude and contentment. The ego is a mental construct that forms our sense of identity and self. It is the part of us that distinguishes I from you, me from them. The ego is responsible for our personal narrative, our likes and dislikes, our ambitions and our fears. It shapes how we see ourselves and how we interact with the world around us. While the ego can be seen as a necessary part of our psychological development, it often becomes a source of conflict, separation, and suffering. The ego thrives on differentiation and comparison. It seeks to establish and maintain a sense of superiority or inferiority, constantly measuring itself against others. This need for comparison creates a sense of separation, fueling feelings of inadequacy, jealousy, and competition. In this way, the ego perpetuates a cycle of dissatisfaction and conflict, driving us to seek validation and approval from external sources. The ego is built on a foundation of illusions, false beliefs, and misconceptions about who we are. These illusions include the idea that we are separate from others, that our worth is determined by our achievements or possessions, and that our happiness depends on external circumstances. The ego's illusions create a false sense of self, leading us to chase after fleeting desires and to measure our value based on superficial criteria. One of the primary illusions of the ego is the belief in a fixed, unchanging self. The ego convinces us that our identity is static and unalterable, leading us to cling to past experiences and future aspirations as if they define who we are. This rigidity prevents us from fully experiencing the present moment and from embracing the fluidity and interconnectedness of life. Another illusion is the belief that we are fundamentally separate from others. The ego fosters a sense of individuality that can lead to isolation and loneliness. It creates boundaries between ourselves and others, reinforcing the idea that we are separate entities with distinct needs and desires. This sense of separation can lead to conflict and competition, as we perceive others as threats or competitors, rather than as fellow beings sharing the same journey. While the ego can be a source of suffering and separation, it also plays a role in our personal development. It provides a sense of identity and purpose, guiding us through our interactions with the world. The ego helps us navigate social and cultural norms, setting goals and striving for achievements. However, when the ego becomes dominant, it can overshadow our true essence and hinder our spiritual growth. In the process of personal development, the ego often resists change. It clings to familiar patterns and identities, fearing the loss of control and stability. This resistance can manifest as defensiveness, judgment, and attachment to material possessions or social status. Overcoming these egoic tendencies requires a willingness to embrace uncertainty and to let go of the need for external validation. Letting go of the ego is not about annihilating it, but about transcending its limited perspective. It involves recognizing the ego's influence on our thoughts and behaviors and choosing to align with a more expansive, interconnected sense of self. This process can be approached through several key practices. Self-awareness and reflection. The first step in letting go of the ego is to become aware of its presence and influence. This involves observing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with a sense of detachment, recognizing how the ego shapes our responses and perceptions. Reflecting on our motivations and desires can reveal the ways in which the ego seeks validation and control. Mindfulness and presence. Practicing mindfulness helps to cultivate a state of awareness that transcends the ego. By focusing on the present moment and observing our experiences without judgment, we create space for a deeper sense of connection and understanding. Mindfulness allows us to experience life more fully, free from the constraints of egoic patterns and beliefs. Embracing impermanence, the ego resists change and clings to a fixed sense of self. Embracing the impermanence of life helps to loosen the ego's grip, allowing us to flow with the natural rhythms of existence. Recognizing that all things are in a constant state of flux encourages us to release our attachment to rigid identities and to embrace the fluidity of our true nature. Embracing impermanence is a key aspect of letting go of the ego, and it involves recognizing and accepting the ever-changing nature of life. The ego thrives on stability and permanence, clinging to fixed identities and circumstances as if they define our true selves. However, the reality is that everything is in a constant state of flux, and the more we resist this change, the more we reinforce the ego's grip on our lives. When we acknowledge and embrace the impermanence of life, we start to see that our sense of self and the world around us are not as solid and unchanging as we once believed. This acceptance allows us to flow with life's natural rhythms, rather than resisting them. By letting go of our attachment to rigid identities and static conditions, we open ourselves to greater freedom and adaptability. Embracing impermanence helps dissolve the ego's need for control and predictability. It encourages us to live more fully in the present moment, appreciating each experience as it comes and letting go of our attachments to specific outcomes. This shift in perspective fosters a deeper sense of inner peace and a more authentic connection to the world around us. Cultivating compassion and empathy. The ego often fosters a sense of separation and judgment towards others. Cultivating compassion and empathy helps to bridge the gaps created by the ego, fostering a sense of interconnectedness and understanding. By seeing others as fellow travelers on the journey of life, we can dissolve the barriers of separation and cultivate a deeper sense of unity. Letting go of attachments, the ego is fueled by attachments to material possessions, achievements, and social status. Letting go of these attachments involves recognizing their transient nature and shifting our focus towards more meaningful and fulfilling experiences. By releasing our grip on external validations, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of contentment and self-worth. Meditation and contemplation. Meditation provides a powerful tool for transcending the ego. Through practices such as mindfulness meditation, we can observe the ego's patterns and beliefs without becoming entangled in them. Contemplative practices allow us to explore the nature of consciousness and to experience a sense of oneness beyond the egoic self. Letting go of the ego brings numerous benefits to our lives. As we release our attachment to a fixed sense of self, we experience greater freedom, clarity, and connection. We become more attuned to the present moment, allowing us to engage with life more fully and authentically. Enhanced relationships. When we let go of the ego, our relationships improve. We become more present and attentive, able to connect with others on a deeper level. The barriers of judgment and separation dissolve, fostering greater empathy, understanding, and intimacy. Greater inner peace, releasing the ego's grip, leads to a sense of inner peace and contentment. We are no longer driven by the need for external validation or the fear of failure. Instead, we find a sense of fulfillment within ourselves, independent of external circumstances. Increased creativity and flow, the ego's need for control and validation can stifle creativity and flow. When we let go of these constraints, we open ourselves to a more spontaneous and intuitive expression of creativity. We become more receptive to inspiration and more engaged in the present moment. Deeper spiritual connection, letting go of the ego, allows us to connect with a deeper, more expansive sense of self. We experience a sense of oneness with the universe and a profound connection to the divine. This spiritual awakening brings a greater sense of purpose and meaning to our lives. The journey of letting go of the ego is not without its challenges. The ego is deeply ingrained in our psychological and cultural frameworks, making it resistant to change. We may encounter obstacles such as fear, resistance, and doubt as we attempt to transcend the egoic self. Fear of losing identity. One of the greatest fears in letting go of the ego is the fear of losing our identity. We may worry that if we relinquish our egoic self, we will become lost or directionless. However, letting go of the ego does not mean losing our individuality, but rather transcending the limitations of a narrow self-concept to embrace a more expansive sense of being. Resistance to change. The ego resists change and seeks to maintain control. As we embark on the journey of letting go, we may encounter resistance from within, manifesting as defensiveness or self-sabotage. Overcoming this resistance requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to embrace uncertainty. Misconceptions about spirituality. The concept of letting go of the ego can be misunderstood. It is not about denying our individuality or rejecting our desires, but about transcending the limitations of egoic patterns and beliefs. It is essential to approach this process with a clear understanding of its purpose and benefits. The art of non-doing is a profound principle that illuminates the paradox of action and inaction. In a world that often glorifies constant activity and productivity, the concept of non-doing challenges our conventional understanding of how to achieve success, inner peace, and personal growth. It is not about abandoning action, but rather embracing a different kind of action, one that flows from a place of stillness and inner awareness. Non-doing, or Wu Wei as it's known in Taoism, is not about doing nothing. Rather, it is about aligning one's actions with the natural flow of life. It represents a state of being where actions emerge spontaneously and effortlessly from a state of inner harmony. In this state, the ego's compulsive drive for control and manipulation is surrendered, allowing us to act in harmony with the world around us. To practice non-doing is to let go of the need to force outcomes, control every aspect of our lives, and cling to rigid plans. It is about learning to trust in the natural order of things and to move with the flow of life rather than against it. This practice can lead to a more profound and intuitive understanding of oneself and the world. One of the key aspects of non-doing is recognizing the illusion of effort. In our daily lives, we often equate effort with progress and success. We believe that the harder we work and the more we struggle, the more likely we are to achieve our goals. However, this mindset is rooted in the ego's desire to control and dominate outcomes. The art of non-doing teaches us that true effectiveness often arises when we let go of our need to exert effort and allow things to unfold naturally. This does not mean that we abandon responsibility or cease to take action. Instead, it means that we act from a place of clarity and calm, allowing our actions to be guided by intuition rather than force. Consider the natural world as a metaphor. A river flows effortlessly towards the sea, navigating obstacles with grace and ease. It does not struggle or force its way through the landscape, but adapts to its surroundings, finding the path of least resistance. Similarly, when we practice non-doing, we learn to adapt to the natural flow of our lives, finding harmony rather than resistance. At the heart of non-doing is a deep sense of awareness. To act effortlessly and in alignment with the natural flow of life, we must first cultivate a state of heightened awareness and presence. This involves observing our thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment or attachment. Meditation is a powerful tool for developing this kind of awareness. By quieting the mind and tuning into the present moment, we can begin to see beyond the ego's incessant demands and recognize the subtle, intuitive guidance that arises from within. This awareness allows us to act with intention and grace, rather than from a place of compulsion or reaction. In moments of stillness, we can connect with our inner wisdom and gain insight into the most appropriate course of action. This clarity helps us to make decisions that are in harmony with our true nature and the natural order of things, rather than being driven by external pressures or internal fears. Detachment is another crucial aspect of non-doing. It involves letting go of our attachment to specific outcomes, desires, and expectations. The ego thrives on attachment, clinging to outcomes as a measure of success or failure. This attachment often leads to stress, anxiety, and dissatisfaction when things do not go as planned. By practicing detachment, we free ourselves from the ego's grip and open ourselves to the possibility of unexpected outcomes and opportunities. Detachment does not mean that we stop caring or become indifferent to our goals. Instead, it means that we approach our goals with a sense of openness and flexibility, allowing them to evolve naturally rather than forcing them to fit a predetermined mold. When we let go of our attachment to outcomes, we create space for new possibilities to emerge. This openness allows us to receive and respond to life's unfolding circumstances with grace and ease, rather than being constrained by rigid expectations or desires. The art of non-doing is not about abandoning action altogether, but rather finding a balance between doing and non-doing. It is about understanding that effective action arises from a state of inner stillness and awareness, rather than from a place of striving and effort. In practical terms, this means integrating non-doing into our daily lives by recognizing when to act and when to simply be. It involves discerning when our actions are guided by intuition and inner wisdom, and when they are driven by the ego's need for control and validation. This balance can be cultivated through practices such as mindfulness, meditation, and self-reflection. By regularly tuning into our inner state and observing our actions, we can develop a deeper understanding of when to take proactive steps and when to allow things to unfold naturally. Embracing the art of non-doing brings numerous benefits, both personally and professionally. On a personal level, it fosters a sense of inner peace and contentment as we learn to let go of the ego's demands and trust in the natural flow of life. This inner harmony leads to greater emotional resilience and a more profound connection with ourselves and others. Professionally, non-doing can enhance creativity and problem-solving. When we let go of rigid plans and allow ourselves to flow with the natural rhythms of our work, we often find innovative solutions and opportunities that were previously hidden. This approach can lead to greater effectiveness and success, as our actions are guided by intuition and insight rather than compulsion. To integrate the art of non-doing into our daily lives, we must cultivate practices and attitudes that support this approach. This includes mindfulness. Regularly practicing mindfulness helps us stay present and aware, allowing us to discern when our actions are guided by intuition and when they are driven by egoic desires. Meditation fosters inner stillness and clarity, enabling us to act from a place of calm and wisdom rather than stress and compulsion. Acceptance, embracing impermanence and detachment helps us let go of rigid expectations and allow life to unfold naturally. Self-reflection, regularly reflecting on our actions and motivations, helps us understand when we are acting in alignment with our true selves and when we are driven by egoic impulses. Self-reflection is a critical practice for understanding and integrating the art of non-doing, as it allows us to examine our thoughts, emotions, and actions with clarity and insight. This process involves pausing to introspectively assess our behaviors, motivations, and experiences, which can lead to a deeper understanding of our true self and our alignment with the natural flow of life. Engaging in self-reflection helps us identify patterns and tendencies driven by the ego, such as compulsive behaviors, rigid expectations, and the need for control. By observing these patterns without judgment, we can begin to see how they influence our actions and decisions. This awareness is essential for making conscious choices that align with our authentic self, rather than reacting from a place of habit or fear. Regular self-reflection also facilitates personal growth and transformation. It encourages us to explore our inner landscape, uncovering underlying beliefs and desires that shape our experiences. Through this exploration, we can challenge limiting beliefs and replace them with more empowering perspectives. This process not only enhances our self-awareness, but also helps us cultivate greater emotional resilience and adaptability. Incorporating practices such as journaling, meditation, and contemplative thinking can support effective self-reflection. These practices provide space for introspection and insight, allowing us to connect with our inner wisdom and make informed decisions. By prioritizing self-reflection, we enhance our ability to live authentically and harmoniously, navigating life's challenges with greater clarity and ease. Cultivating trust in the natural flow of life allows us to surrender our need for control and embrace the spontaneity of non-doing. Trust is a cornerstone of embracing the art of non-doing and surrendering the ego's need for control. It involves a profound sense of faith in the natural flow of life and an inner conviction that everything unfolds as it should, even when we can't predict or control the outcomes. Trusting in the process of life means letting go of the need to micromanage every aspect of our existence. It requires a shift from trying to control external circumstances to cultivating an internal sense of calm and confidence. When we trust in the natural order of things, we allow ourselves to flow with life's rhythms rather than resist them. This trust is rooted in the understanding that life has its own inherent wisdom and timing. By releasing our tight grip on outcomes and embracing uncertainty, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and opportunities that we might have otherwise overlooked. Trusting also means having faith in our own inner guidance and intuition. It involves listening to our inner voice and acting from a place of authenticity rather than fear or compulsion. In the cacophony of modern life, where constant noise and distraction seem to pervade every aspect of our existence, the wisdom of silence offers a profound counterbalance. Silence, often misunderstood as mere absence of sound, is a powerful medium through which deeper understanding and clarity can be achieved. It provides a space where the mind can settle, the ego can diminish, and the essence of our being can be experienced more fully. This exploration of silence is not merely about the absence of noise, but about creating a fertile ground for self-discovery, inner peace, and profound insight. To understand the wisdom of silence, we must first grasp its nature. Silence is not an empty void, but a dynamic and vibrant space where deeper truths can emerge. It is the canvas upon which the subtleties of our inner world are painted. When we are enveloped in silence, we move beyond the superficial noise of daily life and touch upon the essence of our existence. This essence is often obscured by the constant chatter of our thoughts, the incessant demands of our external environment, and the relentless pursuit of material and emotional gains. In silence, the usual clamor of the mind is quieted, and we are presented with an opportunity to reconnect with our core self. It is in this quietude that we can listen to the whispers of our intuition, reflect on our true nature, and gain insights that are not always accessible in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Silence thus serves as a gateway to a more profound level of awareness and understanding. The ego, which thrives on activity, noise, and distraction, often finds silence uncomfortable. It is in constant motion, driven by the need to validate its existence through achievements, opinions, and external validation. When confronted with silence, the ego's usual mechanisms for self-affirmation and distraction are stripped away, revealing its vulnerabilities and insecurities. In moments of silence, we may find ourselves faced with thoughts and feelings that we usually avoid. These might include unresolved emotions, anxieties, and self-doubt. The ego may resist silence because it exposes these aspects of our inner world, challenging its need for control and certainty. However, this resistance is also a signal of the transformative potential that silence holds. By allowing ourselves to sit with these uncomfortable feelings, we can process and integrate them, leading to greater self-awareness and personal growth. Silence has the power to facilitate deep transformation. When we embrace it, we allow ourselves to step out of the habitual patterns of thought and behavior that often dominate our lives. This stepping back provides us with a fresh perspective on our experiences and our relationship with the world. One of the most profound ways silence transforms us is by allowing us to observe our thoughts and emotions from a place of detachment. In the quiet, we can witness our mental and emotional process without being overwhelmed by them. This observational stance enables us to understand our habitual reactions and responses, offering insights into how we might change them. Moreover, silence fosters a deeper connection with our inner self. It provides a space for introspection and self-inquiry, allowing us to explore our values, beliefs, and desires. This exploration can lead to a more authentic and fulfilling way of living, as we begin to align our actions and decisions with our true self rather than with external expectations or ego-driven desires. Cultivating silence requires intentional practice and mindfulness. There are several practices that can help us integrate the wisdom of silence into our lives. Meditation. Meditation is a powerful tool for embracing silence. By sitting in stillness and focusing on the breath or a mantra, we create a space where the mind can settle and quieten. This practice helps us to tune into our inner world and gain clarity and insight. Mindful listening. Mindful listening involves being fully present and attentive to the sounds around us without judgment or distraction. It encourages us to listen deeply and appreciate the subtle nuances of silence that often go unnoticed. Silent retreats. Participating in a silent retreat can provide an immersive experience of silence. These retreats offer an opportunity to disconnect from the external world and engage deeply with our inner selves, fostering a profound sense of peace and clarity. Daily quiet time, setting aside a few minutes each day for quiet reflection, can help us integrate silence into our daily routine. This practice can be as simple as sitting quietly, taking a walk in nature, or engaging in a quiet activity like reading or journaling. Nature immersion. Spending time in nature provides a natural setting for experiencing silence. The tranquility of natural environments can help us to reconnect with ourselves and the world around us, offering a respite from the noise and distractions of daily life. Silence plays a crucial role in personal growth and self-development. By providing a space for self-reflection and introspection, it allows us to confront and understand our inner experiences and motivations. This process of self-discovery can lead to greater self-awareness and a deeper understanding of our purpose and direction in life. Moreover, silence can help us cultivate inner peace and emotional resilience. By learning to sit with our thoughts and emotions without reacting to them, we develop the ability to remain calm and centered in the face of challenges and uncertainties. This inner calmness fosters a sense of stability and balance that supports our overall well-being and personal growth. Silence enhances our ability to connect with others on a deeper level. When we are comfortable with silence and can listen deeply to others without judgment or distraction, we create space for meaningful and authentic communication. This deep listening fosters empathy and understanding, strengthening our relationships and enhancing our capacity to connect with others. Integrating the wisdom of silence into our daily lives requires conscious effort and intention. It involves creating moments of stillness amidst the busyness of life and cultivating a mindset that values inner peace and reflection. By prioritizing silence, we can enhance our overall well-being and deepen our connection with ourselves and the world around us. One way to integrate silence into daily life is by establishing routines that incorporate quiet time. This could involve starting or ending the day with a few minutes of meditation or reflection, taking regular breaks throughout the day to pause and breathe, or engaging in quiet activities that bring us a sense of peace and relaxation. Another approach is to create spaces in our homes or workplaces that support silence and tranquility. This might include setting up a designated meditation area, minimizing distractions and noise, or incorporating elements of nature that promote calmness and serenity. In our fast-paced, noise-filled world, the concept of silence often seems elusive and undervalued. However, silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is a profound and dynamic presence that offers deep insights and transformative potential. Embracing silence allows us to connect with a deeper layer of our existence, offering a space where we can gain clarity, insight, and inner peace. Silence is more than just a pause in our auditory environment. It is a state of being where the constant noise of our thoughts and external distractions recede, allowing us to tune into a more subtle and profound level of awareness. In moments of true silence, we have the opportunity to hear the whispers of our intuition, reflect on our deepest values, and experience a sense of connection with the essence of our being. When we are enveloped in silence, we step away from the usual patterns of thought and activity that dominate our daily lives. This space of quiet allows us to observe our internal processes with greater clarity, revealing patterns, habits, and desires that often remain hidden amidst the clamor of daily life. By creating a deliberate space for silence, we open ourselves to a more authentic understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. The ego, which thrives on activity and external validation, often finds silence uncomfortable. It is in constant motion, seeking affirmation through achievements, opinions, and material possessions. When faced with silence, the ego's usual mechanisms for distraction and self-assertion are challenged. This confrontation with silence can expose the ego's vulnerabilities and insecurities, revealing aspects of ourselves that we might prefer to